I'm gonna talk about the build I've been working on the past few days, and it's an Auramancer that uses both Flame Golem and Summon Raging Spirit to do damage. It also uses this new sword that's been introduced with this league that makes all your minions poison on it and also grants a level 15 envy, and envy is an aura that gives flat damage to everyone affected by it. So I'm currently sitting at 8 auras as an Auramancer, so it greatly buffs my minions, and I currently have the triple golem jewels so that I can have 3 golems out at all time. And now I'm gonna show some Strand action. Alright, I'm gonna show you a quick clear of a Strand. As you can see, it's a little slow at the beginning, but once you get going with Vol Haste, it's pretty fast. This build has a shit ton of movement speed because you're using both Haste, Vol Haste, plus Spirit Offering. Because you're Necromancer, the Spirit Offering affects you as well as your minion. So all of these three gives you a large amount of movement speed, which I mean, you run super fast and it's pretty fun to play. Um, so most of your clear is going to come from your summon Raging Spirit. Golem just helps a lot on clearing large pack. Now you might ask, why are you not using SRS on a 6 link? And the main reason is because first you lose the +2, which is a big amount of your damage, and then second is that it makes your mana cost go from 37 to 80 something, which is really hard to sustain. I already have to mana pot sometimes with 37 mana cost, so it's just not worth it in my opinion. I've tried a lot of different things for this build, including animate weapons, specters. None of them were too great. The best one was animate weapons, but it gets super laggy once you've got a decent amount of weapons, and that decent amount of weapon is what you need to start doing like decent damage with animate weapon. Animate weapon is definitely the best choice for a single target. So that is the reason I'm considering of having 2 shafts, one for killing bosses and the other one just for general map clearing. Animated weapon is pretty insane for a single target. For golems, I had 2 choices. The first one was the stone golem, and then the second one was the flame golem. Now both of them are decent. If you run Flame Golem, you have more AoE clear, but you lose 100 life regen, and you also lose on single target, which Stone Golems are really good at. So you can make your choice on that. I also tried Spectres, but Spectres were terrible. Literally, like, they were 100% useless. They were either dying, they were not fast enough to get to the target and start doing damage before SRS. They were just not good. I tried a bunch of them, and all of them just felt terrible compared to having 3 golems, or were just not useful enough. Alright, here's a clip of me clearing Atoll map, which is a tier 8 without the sword and way less gear. This was before I had all my things, and as you can see, it still clears the map fine. So you don't have to worry about not doing any good if you don't have the sword or a good amount of currency. Hey, now we're gonna talk about leveling. A lot of people were asking me, how do I level this build? Well, here it is. I'm gonna explain it pretty quickly, but it should be in detail enough for you to understand how to do it. First, you should definitely consider buying a reverberation one, because it's super cheap. You should be able to get one for 1 chaos, and it carries you until way later on in Merciless, even into map if you really don't have any currency. Um, For the ores you're gonna run while leveling, it's going to be haste and hatred, and then as soon as you have enough ore nodes, you can run discipline, and then you also have clarity. Keep in mind you don't want to level with clarity too much because it's going to start costing too much mana, so watch that out and don't level it too much. For your links, make sure it's linked with melee splash, minion damage, and summon raging spirit, and your reverberation one. If you don't have a reverberation one and have like a +1, well, you just drop minion damage and put spell echo in. And if you have a 4 link, like let's say in a helmet with a +2 minion, you can run melee splash, minion damage, summon raging spirit, and spell echo. All 4 of them are really good. And then once you get enough cast speed at the end, you can drop spell echo and go for added chaos. Please keep in mind that you should definitely buy an added chaos early on. For it only costs 1 chaos, and you should start leveling it up as soon as possible. For Ascendancies, the order in which you want to pick them up, it's the first one is Mistress of Sacrifice, because the skill effect duration plus the extra cast speed is going to help you a lot while leveling. Then the second one is Commander of Darkness. That one is just going to give you extra cast speed again, plus extra damage on your minions. It's pretty good. And then Spirit Eater, and again more cast speed and more damage on your minions. And then Beacon of Corruption is the last one. It's going to give you a little bit of extra chaos resistance, and also gives a little bit of extra damage, but that damage is kind of irrelevant most of the time, so yeah. And then at around level 75, 78, you're gonna want to start mapping, and you should start buying ES gear. And around when you're around like 700 to 800 flat ES, you can start consider switching to low life with a Solaris Lorica or a Shav if you have it. But if you don't have a Shav, you can definitely go Solaris Lorica. It's definitely good enough if you have around 7 or 800 flat ES and pretty much all the ES nodes in the tree. Make sure you have energy from within too. It's a big amount of your ES. And then we're gonna talk about the bandits. And the bandits, you just kill all the bandits. Normal, cruel, merciless, all of them. You just kill all of them. Video, and I'm just gonna finish up with my links and my items. So first is my helmet. Pretty decent helmet. It's really hard to get a high ES helmet with +2 minion gem. Make sure your helmet has +2 minion gem, and this is where your SRS goes into. So what I use is Summon Raging Spirit, Added Chaos, Minion Damage, and Melee Splash. Then I have my cutlass, which is in United in Dream. This is the upgraded version of Severed in Sleep, and it makes your minion poison on it, which is insane because minion damage double dip on the poison, and it also grants a level 15 envy, and envy is this aura right there, adds flat chaos damage. And here I'm using generosity unlinked, but the generosity affects the envy. As you can see, it's currently casted, but you cannot see it on myself. That's because it's generosity, and generosity makes it so it doesn't affect me. And then I'm using haste, flame dash on the weapon. I'm using blood magic, purity of ice, clarity. You have to have level 1 clarity to use this. And then I'm using vitality on mana, so purity of ice and clarity on blood magic. And then I have Prism Guardian, which is actually pretty cheap right now. And I'm using Grace, Purity of Elements, and Discipline. Purity of Elements just makes it super easy to cap your resist. It also caps the resist of your minions, so it makes them not die in breaches, which is really important because without enough resist, they just die in breaches. and I have discipline right there. And then on my boots, I have Stepanard. Stepanards are just high ES, high movement speed, and it's just really hard to beat. You do not need, you don't really need resist. So these are just great boots in general, and it's definitely the better choice I found. So this is increased duration, Vol Haste, Flesh Offering, and Vol Discipline. Uh, it's pretty much the go-to links here. And then my necklace. This is not the necklace I'm using. This is just to show you my how much ES the new Chayula gives. So I'm sitting at 9600, and if I equip this new Chayula amulet, which converts 20% of your maximum life into energy shield, I go up to 10.9k, which is a total of 1.3k energy shield from the neck, which is pretty insane. I'm using this ring. It's just a lot of stats. The int is energy shield, so it's pretty good to have int on your pieces. It's also mana, which is also pretty good. And then energy shield and percent energy shield. This one is high mana, high hint, high energy shield, and resist. This belt is strength, energy shield, and some resist, and then the increased flash charge gain, which is really important. You should really aim to get increased flash charge gain on the belt. You can also go for a crystal belt, but I kind of need the strength right now, so I'm just staying with that belt for now. For the chest, I'm using a Chevrons, obviously, because I'm low life, and I don't want to die to chaos damage. Even if you have 75 chaos resist, like I do right now, I have 4 lives, so any amount of chaos damage would kill me anyway. Alright, my links are Flame Golem, Conk Effect, Added Chaos, GMP, Spell Echo, and Minion Damage. Spell Echo can be changed with Control Destruction. It's less laggy to go Control Destruction, so I'm gonna recommend going Control Destruction, just because it's way less laggy, and this puts like a shit ton of balls on your screen. It's very hard to see. So yeah, that's my gear. And then I'm gonna go to the potions. The potions are pretty simple. I just put every single immunities, I guess. So immunity shock, jade flask, immunity to freeze, granite flask, immune to curse, basalt, and then immune to bleeding, mana pot. And then I have just a super quick quicksilver just to make sure that I move as fast as possible. So now let's get into the passive skill tree. So you start at the beginning from here, you go up, and then you grab some damage. At the beginning you're gonna want all the life along the way, but you just go up here, you go all around, you rush the skill effect duration, and then at the same time you can get the minion damage. Then you get up there, you grab all the aura nodes there, all the aura nodes there, and then you go down there, grab all the aura nodes. Make sure that every time you pat to these aura nodes, always grab the life nodes in the way, and then once you're ready to respec, you can respec all the life nodes after. So this is a skill tree. I'm going for these just for minion damage. Keep in mind, minion damage double dip. All these other that give minion life are completely useless. So I do not aim to go for these. The goal here is to get enough mana regen to cast Summon Raging Spirit. So that's why I go for Dreamer and then a few mana regen node. I have 2 nodes here that gives me mana regen because my next jewel is 3 points, so I might as well go for regen mana for right now. Now my jewels. I'm using Anima Stone to get 3 golems, and I need 3 primordial jewels socketed for it to work. So we have primordial might, which makes your golem aggressive. You kind of want one of these to make sure your golems are always searching to attack. I have energy from within of this spot to get a high amount of energy shield. I have primordial harmony here to get cooldown reduction on your flame golem, so they spam their balls more often. Another primordial harmony, so they get cooldown reduction again. And then the last one, which is this one, is just ES, stat, and minion damage. So yeah, that pretty much sums the bill. Make sure you have Zealot's Oath. You sit around. Well, I'm sitting around. Let me cast the rest of my auras. Right. Well, I fucked up something, but we'll figure it out after. So I'm currently sitting on 369 life regen a second, which is definitely a decent amount. It helps out a lot on burned ground and stuff like that, so that's really good. And yeah, as you can see, my cast speed is not very high right now, but once you get Valhaze, Flesh Offering, and then Haze together, it gives you a great amount of cast speed, movement speed, and all that stuff to move quickly around the map. So that's pretty much it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed this guide, and I'll see you later on the stream if you want to watch me. See ya.